Oops. Not Stalingrad. The BR is very compressed at the moment, in my opinion. Well, hopefully soon, you know, if there are more people at top tier, then they can, you know, have it be less compressed. I don't think there's been any more news of the BR changes. I know the BR changes came in. I don't think there's going to be any change to the compression idea. One of the things I hear a lot is naval is the best example, right? So in ground, I think top tier right now, it's in probably the best state, just from a ground perspective, without, you know, taking away helicopters and, you know, aircraft. The ground portion of the game at top tier is in a pretty good state if we look across the nations compared to the others. Aviation right now, it's in a very odd state. You know, you have specific vehicles which are very dominant, but that's what you always get in aviation, because it's there's only certain, you know, ways you can play the game in aviation compared to ground. And then naval is just horrific. The the compression in naval is horrific, but you can't do anything about it because you don't have the player base. So it's kind of like hoping that, you know, more and more people play it, so therefore you can get them in. And there's always this idea that, you know, oh well, if you decompress it, then you'll bring more players into it. And it's like, well, no, that won't happen. Especially in naval, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, they have to grind to top tier in the space of time after it's decompressed. So for that period of time where it isn't, where it becomes decompressed, you need to hope that this new player base comes out of nowhere to be able to grind through the whole of the tech tree, and then eventually, let's say after maybe a week, a month, 2 months, whatever time period it is, you have to hope that the pre-existing set of players at the top have been able to hold the queue times enough to be able to bring in that newer player base. And that is hoping that that player base is still there, or even exists in the first place. So you're pretty much placing money on red and hoping for the best. Whereas what Gaijin are doing now is doing the safe route. And yes, it causes a lot of pain for people who are in 5.0s and 5.3s. And as a person who right now is in that bracket, you know, I definitely feel it. But it is a much better long-term solution than just in one fell swoop doing Why is my heat not doing anything? In one fell swoop, just killing top tier because of, you know, people not wanting to play it because of insane queue times. So for me, it's, you know, it's just as simple as that. Oh, there are definitely some BRs that are quite compressed, or they feel compressed. 5.7 right now is becoming one of them, where everything seems to be being thrown at 5.7, just hoping for the best. 3.3 is another one as well. 3.3 and 3.7. There's a lot of vehicles at 3.3 or 3.7 which, at least in my opinion, are not equals, but, you know, it is how it is. I think balance-wise, the majority of the game's in a pretty good place. Obviously, top tier is always going to be a shambles, and I know people don't want it to be a shambles, but I'm sorry. Like, there hasn't been a point in War Thunder's history where top tier, since ground has been added in the last 2 years, I think. So, since 1.77, so Advancing Storm, there hasn't been a time in War Thunder's history in the last 2 years where top tier balance for ground and for air, when you add in helicopters and aviation and stuff, is balanced. It just hasn't happened. And it's not going to happen because of the crazy mechanics that they're adding in and the crazy things that people are asking for to put them in, and also what they are putting in. So, no reason why a 7.7 should always face an 8.7. Well, yeah, you're right. That's why they don't always face an 8.7. Actually, 7.7's becoming one of those black hole BRs that, you know, we talk about because of the fact that they just moved up a lot of the 8.7's to 9.0. So that's actually something to look forward to. 7.7, since 7.7, since they moved up a lot of the BRs, you know, a lot of the premiums to 9.0, 9.3, 7.7 is now BR. It's hard to grind helis if you don't have a good one. Oh, definitely, yeah. That's true. Like, the business model of naval and helicopters, I highly disagree with, and I've made it known many times that I don't like this idea of putting in top BR premiums into the game. I think it's obviously a reaction, right? So what happens is people say it is too hard to grind to top tier. So what Gaijin goes is, okay, we'll make it easier for you to grind to top tier. Here is a vehicle which is the highest BR, one rank lower than the highest rank. You can go buy it and make the grind easier. And normally that vehicle is better or at least equal to the one in the tech tree. So you can get that top tier experience straight away. And that's what we're seeing. And I disagree with it. I think it's a bad business practice. And all it... What is going on? Oh, hello. Are you honestly serious? Why are you there? Like, why are you there? You know what, you're gonna make me spawn in a backup because I need to teach you a lesson. But they do? I'm always facing 7.7 plus? What do you mean? Like, the original statement was that 7.7s always face 8.7s, right? Well, with the way that quantitative matchmaking works, you can only have a maximum of 4 people on the enemy team if you're in a 7.7 lineup, and, you know, a top 7.7 lineup. You can only have 4 people on the enemy team which are in 8.7 vehicles. On top of this as well, not every single match that you have is going to have top... That turret, yeah. Not every... What is going on? Not every match you're going to have is going to be a full up tier. That's just not going to be the case. It isn't something that is going to happen, and it's not something that we see in the game right now. Like, you are going to have variance, you are going to have differences. These guys are really trying. I'll just let the SU-100B kill him. Like, it's no skin off my back, you know. I had some ice road truckers there, flying about the place. Your Leopard is facing Warriors and Bradleys. Well, the Bradley is what, 8.0, and your Leopard is 7.7. So that would mean that you're a middling BR, which is where you want to be the majority of the time. You don't want to, like, you want people to be middling BRs. Also, the Warrior is 8.3, so you're a middle to low in that BR bracket if you're facing like max tier 8.3s, right? So you actually want those BRs. They're the best BRs for you. Instead of a match where you're either annihilating, because you're the highest tier, you know, 8, like in this case 7.7. Oh my god. Why is there stabilized everything all over the place today? Also, what is this position? Let's try and have some fun with this. They don't use repair as a balancing factor. I'm really sad how that statement got construed, because one of the things is there was a clip that was circulated which said that, and it's completely correct. But the interesting thing about it is if you're actually watching the live stream and you actually heard what Kirill said, the thing that he said was, no, we don't use repair as a balancing factor. And then afterwards he went, well, actually, what do you mean by balance? So he wasn't exactly sure the interpretation of balance that was being asked. Because is it balanced due to, you know, do we use it to, you know, push players towards certain vehicles, or do we use it to actually make vehicles equal to each other, right? Like there are different schools of thought on this, and he should have answered it better, but at the same time, I think it's really disingenuous to not put in the full quote, and also for people to take the words out of the context that they were in, because it's just easy to do. So yeah. Oh, I agree, Tubo. It means that I can't peek anything, and I have to basically just sit there and wait for the British to push me. And then if they don't push me, I lose. So it's a reactive thing, definitely. I could go around another area, but unfortunately I'd run into another stabilizer. It just is as it is. You just wish that the G56 wasn't 45k to repair. Mine's 55k, so yeah, I agree, it is very ludicrous, but at the same time I can also understand it as somebody who has spaded it and really, really enjoys the Italian planes. The G56, like, here, this is interesting, this is an interesting thought, right? So, what I'm about to say is something that gets me misconstrued a lot. So when I say I can understand why its repair cost is so high, that is not me agreeing with it being that high. That is me stating that I can understand it because of the performance of the vehicle and how well I personally do in it. But what generally happens in this conversation is this. I say what I just said, and then what goes is, well, why do you agree with Gadget's decisions to you know, have this ludicrous repair cost? And I said, I didn't say that. Like I said, in the current system that you see, it makes sense for it to be that high. That doesn't mean the system shouldn't be changed. And that is an argument that I personally would like to have, but we can't get to that argument, unfortunately. Instead, we're stuck on the, why is this number so big? And that should never, it should be, you know, what can we do to change the system so it isn't, like, so certain stuff is rewarded more, and also so we can keep the reason why SL exists, but also make it so we're in a position where, you know, we can actually not have these crazy high repair costs. Like, is it a reward thing we need to change? Is it something like that we need to change? Who knows? It could be many things. Do I even want to spawn back in this? You know what? Screw it. Let's use all the backups. I mean, I think we've lost this one. It's as simple as that. We don't have enough vehicles, and as I said before, they are sat here, here, and here, and also here. And all they have to do is just wait, because they have the advantage. We decapped, but we didn't cap again. They can just wait for us to push them, and then they can just kill us over and over and over again, which is what you're seeing right now. Like, they have FV4202, they have a Carnarvon and a Ascent sat in those positions, and we've ran into all three of them. There's the Carnarvon again. You know, he's done really well, these two. And there's nothing we can do, because we don't have stabilizers. Maybe one day. Teach people math? Nah. Math's boring. I could teach people chemistry. That's fun. Chemistry's fun. So there's a dude on the side. There's a Carnarvon or a Centurion on this. It's the Carnarvon. Whoop! But yeah, there's not really a lot we can do here. We can be an asshole. Just try and hit people with the gun. Oh, come on, Coelian. So in this position, I'd normally take the Cougar Blitz, but I'm spading this thing. And it's still a good vehicle. Like, it's a very fun vehicle to use. I'm definitely not as good in this as the Coelian. Yada-dee, yada-doo, yada-da, yada-da. This Carnarvon's about to bop me, but that's okay. Oh boy. Oh look. You remember those British vehicles I was talking about? So, here they are. Look at them. There's 3 of them, and then you got the Carnarvon at the back. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it is how it is. Alright, Alex. See you later, bud. Yeah, hopefully, you know, that, talking about that stuff, you can maybe understand at least some of my thought process of it, right? Like, I think it's very important to, you know, talk about stuff like matchmaking and things like that, but we also have to make sure to look at the other side of the coin, right? Like, that's much more important, in my opinion, than something like just bashing home the same point over and over again.